Well, this week, 200 emerging young leaders from 44 African countries met in Johannesburg as part of the Obama Foundation Leaders Africa program. And bringing a wide range of skills and experiences, they shared and they explored new ways to take on the biggest challenges in their communities. And this morning, we're honored to be joined by two of the leaders, Siyabulela Jentile, and he, of course, is a social entrepreneur, a socio-analyst, a speaker, and an activist. And he is the founder and president and CEO of his company as well. And then, Not In My Name, South Africa's Loyiso Kula also with us, and she, of course, also a business strategy professional in financial services. And this is a space with a passion for women empowerment and women career development and the advocacy of equal pay and gender parity. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, let's start at the beginning. How was the experience for you, Loyiso?
It was really amazing because it gave me the opportunity to reflect a lot on my own leadership style and how I want to define myself as a leader and how I want to have an impact not only in South Africa and in the community that I live in, but just in Africa as a whole, and the opportunity to network and connect so we can work collaboratively across the continent.
And then, Siyabulela, for you, in addition to what the experience was like for you, what are your hopes coming out of it?
Yeah, so for me, what stood out most was the different stories and the diversity that we each hold as different young emerging leaders from Africa. And just to reassure each and every one of us that, the struggles that we are going through in our different countries, they are not unique. I've heard similar stories of things that we go through in South Africa. They're happening in other countries. You talk about the abuse of women and children. You talk about the censorship of media. You talk about a whole lot of things, and for me that says there's a group of young people who are going through similar challenges, but not only that, who are willing, to stand up and say, I am willing to be part of a collective and work together to forge a new path for people of Africa.
You know what they say, talk is cheap. Yes. So it's all good to spew the rhetoric, we want to build and forge a better South Africa for all. But what does that mean, actually? How do you practically then go about, Siyabulela, to making this a reality for all youth on the continent? Where would you start?
Yes. So as you mentioned when you introduced me, that I am the founder and the president of Not In My Name South Africa, which is an advocacy group against social injustices in general, but mostly focuses on injustices against women and children. So that is the platform that I'll be using mostly to advocate and take all the knowledge and the lessons that I've learned from the program, to move forward. Because what was emphasized over time at the program was collective association. You can't do it alone, and that is where it should start at the local level with our organizations, with our networks, and just continue what we've been doing. Not In My Name has been very vocal. I'm sure, as you might have been aware, the hashtag Not In My Name campaign, the national campaign that we're running. So for me, that is where it's going to start, and also the social enterprise that I've just launched, Siyabulela Jentile Social Development Innovations, will be doing also some of the work through that platform. So for me, it starts on the ground. That's where it starts, and people taking responsibility collectively of their issues on the ground without blaming the government, blaming who's supposed to be doing what. Just starting it from there to say it starts with me, and that's what President Obama always encouraged us to say. We are the change makers. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. So if change is about to happen in Africa, it has to start within each one of us.
And Loyiso, of course, he spoke about women as well, and women taking their rightful place, and listing some of the challenges that women face. And you also quite passionate about those. So what are you going to do in that regard?
Well, the beauty of the program, Sakina, is that, and I'm talking about the Obama founders, leaders of Africa, is that it touches across all sectors. You've got civil servants, you've got private sector employees like me, you've got people like Siyabulela who are running in their own foundations and entrepreneurs. So in my own space, I actually want to continue in the corporate space, advocating through the corporate space, mentoring other young women in the corporate space, and fighting the good fight inside the corporate environment in order to make space for women in boardrooms and in the upper echelons of the corporate environment.
Well, both of you doing a fantastic job, and so happy for you that you've had that opportunity. And both Siyabulela and Loyiso were telling me off camera about just being able to be in that space, the accessibility to not just the politicians but the funders also. And this is something that perhaps needs to happen more often. But thanks to both Siyabulela Jentile and Loyiso Kula for chatting to